Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. In chapter 47, we explore the fundamental nature of the activity as interaction between materials. Let's consider G as material A and its surrounding G activity and related environment as material B. Material A is inevitably influenced by material B, and material A also influences material B. This interaction reflects the movement and change of materials, determining the plasticity of G. The interaction between materials can be broken down to the microscopic level of particle interactions, which also determines that G possesses electromagnetic properties. If we divide material B into B1 and B2, two different environmental materials, both will affect material A. If the dose of B1 is much greater than B2, then the changes caused by B1 to A are less likely to be reshaped by B2, demonstrating the stability of G. This stability also reflects the characteristic of B1's influence, which is the philosophical basis for G's simulated nature. In summary, from a philosophical perspective, we understand that G and its attributes have a necessary basis for existence, and we can more firmly believe that environmental regulation can change the G in the brains of patients with mental disorders. Environmental regulation has a wide range, including language communication, scene support, media influence, etc., but it often involves the sensory G wave input of the subject, thereby reshaping the corresponding G. Of course, extreme environmental regulation, such as advanced craniotomy in the future, can be seen as a direct material reshaping of G from a philosophical perspective. This surgical process can be viewed as G wave input. Through the concept of the past few chapters, we can analyze why a certain approach behavior that sound appear in a specific environment does not occur. Excluding physical material damage, the most likely reason is that the G formed and reshaped by this type of behavior and the player sub-G or the player seeking G have had their G connections abandoned due to reshaping, or have formed new G connections with the discomfort sub-G of the avoidance G. Similarly, in a specific environment, if a certain avoidance behavior that should appear does not, a possible reason is that the G formed and reshaped by this type of behavior, and the discomfort sub-G of the avoidance G have had their G connections abandoned due to reshaping, or have formed new G connections with the player sub-G of the player seeking G. This above paragraph may seem complex, but the principle is simple. There are many examples, such as why a middle school student who was doing well in the school suddenly starting skipping classes. there must be a reason for this behavior, such as the increasing difficulty of the uh, uh, curriculum leading to an inability to understand or experiencing an event that resulted in reprimands from teachers and ridicules from classmates. This avoidance behavior might also be an approach behavior from other perspectives, such as the middle school students skipping school to work and earn money to supplement the family income or to play games in an internet cave. Here's an aside. Individual behaviors have their reasons, let alone the actions of large groups or countries. Therefore, conspiracy theories, even if prone to error, will never be outdated. Using the same principle, we can also infer that if we want someone to continuously exhibit a certain approach behavior, we can achieve this by strengthening the G connection between the G formed by this type of behavior and the pleasure sub-G, and abandoning the G connection between the G formed by this behavior and the discomfort sub-G. Right. That also mean the principle is the same for making someone continuously exhibit a certain avoidance behavior. The application of this inference is everywhere in reality. For example, kindergarten teachers encourage children to eat quickly by rewarding them with little red flowers, or interest groups make house prices appear to be always rising to encourage more residents to buy house. Similarly, we can further infer that if we want someone to stop exhibiting a certain behavior, we can achieve this by abandoning the G connection between the G formed by this type behavior and the pleasure sub-G, and strengthening the G connections between the G formed by this type of behavior and the discomfort sub-G. Strengthening the G connection with the discomfort sub-G is often inhumane, such as the harsh rule of the Qin dynasty in ancient China. We can choose the strengthen the new G connection between the G formed by the current new behavior and the pleasure sub-G to use in the intervention of certain patients with mental disorders. For example, a patient with acrophobia will have a fear response when facing heights. And once the avoidance behavior is prompted, transferring to a safe place, the pleasure sub-G will be activated. This is a strengthening of the G connection between the avoidance behavior G and the pleasure sub-G. We can make the patient use strong willpower to control themselves from exhibiting avoidance behavior, maintaining their behavior of staying in high places, making the fear continue to appear, while ensuring the patient's safety, making the patient's dangerous expectations not come true. Instead, through the sensory G wave input of safe results, that is, the current behavior of staying in place forms a G connection with the pleasure sub-G. Thus, through repeated strengthening, desensitization treatment can be successful. Alright, that's all the content today. More complex, right? Yes. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.